So I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, it'd be great to go for a walk. It's April. It's pretty nice out, you would think. Then I woke up and I checked the weather and it's 35 degrees out. I mean, it's April. It should not be 35 degrees out. It should be like 60. I mean, all these people who keep saying like, oh, climate change is real, climate change is real. Well, clearly not. I mean, just look at this. Everything's like dead. It's just nothing is alive, and it's April.
Hold on a minute. Did they just say that climate change is fake because the weather happens to be colder today? This person needs to be educated. Roll it all the way back. The natural world is a beautiful and complex place. Living organisms interact with one another and with the non-living environment in a variety of ways. Some organisms modify their environment in specific ways in order to facilitate higher survivability. Here on Notre Dame's campus, all kinds of wildlife can be found, especially around the two lakes. All kinds of birds, squirrels, geese, ducks, and even turtles can be found in this lake system. These animals are resilient to changes in weather, as evidenced by their continual survival. This is because weather is the day-to-day variation in a localized area. Climate, on the other hand, is the long-term average of weather in an area, essentially what conditions one would expect to get. So climate change has much deeper implications than a mere weather change would. So what are the predicted impacts of climate change? In answer, scientists largely are uncertain. Some species can withstand large variations in climate, while some would likely go extinct. Granted, many of the species at Notre Dame are commonly found elsewhere. However, in treating species as important, it is necessary to retain as many populations and communities as possible. It all ultimately comes back to humans. Our high standard of living has had a major impact on the quality of the environment. This is how the environment has changed in the past couple of decades, largely as a result of human interactions. This graph shows the global temperature anomaly from 1880 projected into 2020. The trend is clearly increasing global temperature anomaly as time has gone on. And here's the graph of carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, shown with carbon dioxide emissions from the burning of fossil fuels. Right at about 1950, the rate of emissions of CO2 increased, which corresponded to an increase in atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide. Now that we know climate is changing, what impacts will it have on human life? The severity of any impacts ultimately depend on what quantities of carbon dioxide end up being released. This flowchart shows several possible scenarios, none of which are particularly good. Let's see how this could affect Notre Dame, and how Notre Dame generates its own electrical energy, which is one of the leading causes of fossil fuel pollution.
As global climate continues to warm, rainfall events will become less predictable than they are now. Notre Dame could see more snow in May, or even more rain in February. It could go either way. Just a few weeks ago, Notre Dame had a 500-year flooding event, and this area around me became a pond for 6 days. I tried to walk by it a few times, but it just wasn't possible. It was almost a foot deep. It was just impossible to go by. Behind me is St. Joseph's Lake, and that roar you're actually hearing in the background is the Notre Dame power plant, which is right behind you. The Notre Dame power plant uses a steam-driven system to generate electricity for the college campus. And behind me, you could actually see the outtake valve in the lake that's putting the water back into the lake. It's very interesting because in the winter, if you get here early enough, you can actually see steam rising from the lake to greet the cool air. We're now here outside of the East Notre Dame power plant. This power plant is, as you can see, obviously under construction still. It began just this past summer to help complement the geothermal wells that are built into the Ritchie band rehearsal fields and practice fields behind you on the other side of this parking lot. This power plant, in addition to the other current steam power plant on St. Joseph's Lake, will help to make Notre Dame more sustainable environmentally for the long run and will depend less on coal power from the city of South Bend.
So what can we do about climate change, especially here on campus? I'm so glad you asked. These are just a few of the positive steps we can take toward mitigating climate change.
Globally, oceans are the most important place where carbon can be sequestered away, and as more carbon dioxide is continually released into the atmosphere, it will become more and more important for that carbon to somehow be naturally stored away. As there are no oceans here at Notre Dame, although there are 2 lakes, more natural places such as these where vegetation can grow and prosper will become more and more important to the future of humanity.
Some other easy changes you can make are like turning off the water when you're brushing your teeth, turning off the lights when it's daytime out because you're already getting light from the sun, unplugging unused electronics, and also adjusting your thermostat to make it a little warmer in the summer and a little cooler in the winter.
If you don't yet have a car on campus, don't worry, don't get one. You don't need one. Everything within South Bend is either within biking, walking, or public transportation distance. Furthermore, it'll save you money on buying a parking pass and having to pay for gas. Notre Dame also has fantastic line bikes available everywhere for you to ride around and leave in odd places.
In summary, the world is the only home we have, so we need to take better care of it. Climate change can be scary, but we control our own future, so we need to be proactive now in order to pass down the same beautiful world that we have experienced to our descendants.